1, 2, 3, come on!
Hello guys, my name is Josh and this is Urban Tech. In our contemporary world, smartphone has become indispensable because of its functionality and daily use to humanity. But nevertheless, a major reason why people buy smartphone is because of the quality of the camera. So before we dive into the stream, if this is the first time you are watching my video, a sub to this channel will be tremendous because I want to hit 5k subscribers before the year runs out. Now we are going to be analyzing the various cameras you can find on the smartphone, types and functionality. Generally, we have 6 different types of camera on the smartphone. Your number 1 is your main or standard camera, then the number 2 is the ultra-wide, and the number 3 is the telephoto or telescope zoom. While the number 4 is the macro, number 5 is the monochrome, and the last one is the depth sensor, or some other may call it 3D time of flight sensor. Now, the main camera, this used to be the only camera on the smartphone back in the days, but even up to now, there is no phone that doesn't support a main camera. The purpose of a main camera is simply to snap quality images without zooming in or zooming out. A good example of a picture shot in a main camera is this. Now the next we have on the list is the ultra-wide. Now when you compare this to the main camera, the purpose of the ultra-wide is to capture large distance and large angle in a particular position. When you compare this to the main camera, you will see the difference is clear. You will see that the ultra-wide is able to capture large angle and large perspective, and the ultra-wide is used to capture quality images and is used for landscape, and also used to capture buildings and wide angles and group photos. LG was the first to introduce this type of camera to smartphone back in 2016. Now the next we have on the list is the telephoto or periscope zoom. What this camera does specifically, it zooms in far distance objects and it gives you quality image of that object. Now assuming you have an object from a very far distance and you also want to get a quality image of that object, you use the telephoto. A good example of images or objects snapped with telephoto is this. Now the next on the list is the micro camera. Now assuming specifically this camera is used to capture tiny images, minor images. Now assuming you have your hair, you want to snap your hair, or you want to snap your food, or you want to snap an ant or your circuit board, you want to give a clear detail of those tiny things, you use the macro camera. And also we have the monochrome. Although this monochrome camera is no longer in use unlike before, Huawei was the first to implement this camera. What this camera does specifically is to enable you to snap images and give you the black and white version of those images. Recently or nowadays we now use color filters to edit our photos to black and white, but back in the days the monochrome camera was used to convert your images to natural black and white. Now the last but not the least is the depth sensor, or some of you might call it 3D time of flight sensor in premium phones. What this camera does specifically, it enables the lens to be focused on the object while the rest of the background will become blurry. A good example of images shot with the depth sensor is this. Now a big question, the higher the megapixel, does it determine the better the camera? Well, I will say yes and no, because brands like Apple and Google have been able to use their 12 megapixel to generate quality pictures, quality images, and while the likes of Samsung use higher megapixel. And now, in a nutshell, the best way to know a phone with a good camera is to pick 2 phones with similar specs and compare the camera. And that is it guys. With that being said, my name is Josh and this is Urban Tech. If you love this video, a sub to this channel will be massively appreciated. Until I catch you in the next one. Ciao.
1, 2, 3.